on Srimad Bhagavatam 4.4.4. So, His Holiness Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj is a senior Vaishnava monk in the renowned order of Sannyas, a chemical engineering graduate from the National Institute of Technology at Trichy, India, with a soaring and colorful past, having won awards for most outstanding student cultural activities like drama, debate, and as best singer, rhythm guitarist at a national level. Right at the start of the lucrative career back in the 80s, inspired by the teachings of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he summarily disengaged himself from worldly life to become a full-time missionary, spreading the wisdom of the ancient Vedas worldwide. His focus is currently on outreach preaching, especially to the future of the world, our youth. He is prodigious in fluidly delivering seminars, retreats, and satsangs to a wide array of targets in an engaging manner. Apart from overseeing many temples and major projects, he holds the following posts in ISKCON: Deputy Governing Body Commissioner, GBC ISKCON World Body, GBC Zonal Secretary, Kerala and West Tamil Nadu, India, Chairman, International Outreach Effort for the GBC member, Regional Governing Body, India, Trustee, Member of ISKCON India Bureau, Director, ISKCON Guruvayur Project, Director, Malayalam Division, the Bhakti Vedanta Book Trust, BBT, Director, Bhakti Vedanta Academy for Training and Education, BVA, Director, Turiya Academy, Legal Ministry, assisting in the legal matters of the societies. So we are very fortunate to have Maharaj in our conference call. Hare Krishna Maharaj, you are there on the call.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. Maharaj.
Dandavat Pranam Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for giving your association and valuable time. Thank you, Maharaj. You can take over. Hare Krishna.
Swara. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Dandavat Pranam. We are done with the introduction, Maharaj, so you can start with the class. Thank you so much for your association. Hare Krishna.
Hello. Hare Bol.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Maharaj, we can hear you.
Okay. It's a new contraption I'm getting used to. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Shiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So I've been asked to continue reading from where we left yesterday. So today we'll just read a few shlokas which are descriptive. Reading from Canto 4, Chapter 4, Text 4. We did 3 yesterday. Tam anvagachan druta vikramam statim ekam tri netra nuchara sahasrasah sa parshada yaksha maniman madadayah puro vrishendra tarasa gatavyatah. When they saw Sati, translation, when they saw Sati leaving alone very rapidly, thousands of Lord Shiva's disciples, headed by Maniman and Mada, quickly followed her with his bull Nandi in front and accompanied by the Yakshas. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Sati was going very fast so that she might not be checked by her husband. But she was immediately followed by the many thousands of disciples of Lord Shiva, headed by the Yakshas, Maniman and Mada. The word Gata Vyataha used in this connection means without fear. Sati did not care that she was going alone. Therefore, she was almost fearless. The word Anucharaha is also significant, for it indicates that Lord Shiva's disciples were always ready to sacrifice anything for Lord Shiva. All of them could understand the desire of Shiva, who did not want Sati to go alone. Anucharaha means those who can immediately understand the purpose of their master. Let's read text 5 and further. Tam sarika kanduka darpanam puja shvetata patra vyajanasrag adibihi gitayanair dundubihi shankavenubhir vrishendram aropya vitankitayayuhu. The disciples of Lord Shiva arranged for Sati to be seated on the back of a bull and gave her the bird which was her pet. They bore a lotus flower, a mirror and all such paraphernalia for her enjoyment, and covered her with a great canopy. Followed by a singing party with drums, conch shells and bugles, the entire procession was as pompous as a royal parade. Text 6. Brahma ghoshorjita yajna vaishasam viprasijushtam vibhutaischa sarvasah mriddarva ayah kanchana darbacharmabhi nirshishta bandham yajanam samavishatat. Translation. She then reached her father's house where the sacrifice was being performed and entered the arena where everyone was chanting the Vedic hymns. The great sages, brahmanas and demigods were all assembled there, and there were many sacrificial animals as well as pots made of clay, stone, gold, grass and skin, which were all requisite for the sacrifice. Purport. When learned sages and brahmanas assembled to chant Vedic mantras, some of them also engage in arguing about the conclusion of the scriptures. That some of the sages and brahmanas were arguing, and some of them were chanting the Vedic mantras. So the entire atmosphere was surcharged with transcendental sound vibration. This transcendental sound vibration has been simplified in the transcendental vibration Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In this age, no one is expected to be highly educated in the Vedic ways of understanding because people are very slow, lazy and unfortunate. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya has recommended the sound vibration Hare Krishna, and in the Srimad Bhagavatam it is also recommended Yakyahi Sankirtana Prayir Yajanti Hi Sumedashaha. At the present moment, it is impossible to gather sacrificial necessities because of the poverty of the population and their lack of knowledge in Vedic mantras. Therefore, for this age, it is recommended that people gather together and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is accompanied by his associates. Indirectly, this indicates Lord Chaitanya, who is accompanied by his associates, Nityananda, Advaita, and others. That is the process of performing yajna in this age. Another significant point in this verse is that there were animals for sacrifice. That these animals were meant for sacrifice does not mean that they were meant to be killed. The great sages had realized souls assembled were performing yajnas, and the realization was tested by animal sacrifice, just as in modern science, tests are made on animals to determine the effectiveness of a particular medicine. The brahmanas entrusted with the performance of yajna were very realized souls, and to test their realization, an old animal was offered in the fire and rejuvenated. That was the test of a Vedic mantra. The animals gathered there, not meant for it to be killed and eaten. The real purpose of a sacrifice was not to replace a slaughterhouse, but to test a Vedic mantra by giving an animal new life. Animals were used to test the power of Vedic mantras, not for meat. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantitam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Patakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vidantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya Namaom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayatri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'm happy to be with all of you on this conference call again, and privileged to get an opportunity to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam with all of you on this auspicious occasion of Ekadashi today. So it is recommended that we try to appreciate the Lord and His qualities on the day of Ekadashi more than normal days. So somehow I have this opportunity. So grateful for that. Yesterday we discussed how Sati simply turned away from her husband and decided to go to her father-in-law's place. And Lord Shiva did nothing about it. But instead we see here that Lord Shiva's followers, they all accompanied Sati. And they gave her all the facilities that is required for her to go, and carried paraphernalia with them that is required for her. And this actually indicates something very interesting, that Lord Shiva and his associates were giving protection even when Sati is not in agreement with Lord Shiva. In other words, if somebody is not in agreement in intention, we don't withdraw on other things that we normally are dutifully supposed to do. There is the protection, the love, the affection that a husband is supposed to give to the wife remains intact in spite of the fact that the wife is not seeing eye to eye and is not willing to actually listen to the husband. This is a very cultured society, like I mentioned. Similarly, in our interactions with our children sometimes, or with anyone else very close to us, when we want them, possess them so much, and you want them to listen to you. In fact, we want to map our own biography on top of them. We want them to be followers to such an extent when they have a difference of opinion. Then we withdraw on affection, we withdraw on many things that we are supposed to give, just to teach the other person that if you want these things, you have to agree with me, see eye to eye. This is not considered to be very civilized. We should be able to agree to disagree. As a popular phrase goes, we agree to disagree. And still, I remain the same person in my disposition. In other words, recognizing each person as individuals capable of making their own decisions and definitely having their own opinion about things. So Lord Shiva, you see, is very magnanimously portraying that his followers are still accompanying Sati for all the protection she needs, since she's a single woman. It mentions here that she was fearless, although she was alone, and she was rushing to go ahead, but she was getting the protection. You see, sometimes we blackmail people who are recipients of our protection, our affection and love, that if they don't become morphed into one along with them, become one of them in both their thought, word and deed, then we will not be able to be protected. Even Krishna is not like that. It's only a materialistic society, it's only a materialistic mind, a materialistic consciousness that thinks in that way of exploiting people and taking away their individuality, which is anyway very temporary. Even Krishna, he has left all of us according to our own desire. Just like Sati has turned away from Lord Shiva and gone to actually face something very bad. All living entities in this world have turned their face away from Krishna. Krishna Bahirmukha Bhogavan Chakare Japatiya Mayadhare. That as soon as we turn our face away from Krishna, immediately the material nature traps you, catches hold of you. You see, but Krishna still gives you all the facilities that you need to enjoy what you want to enjoy. He makes this brilliant, material world so nicely crafted with all necessities for the living entities' enjoyment in forgetfulness of Krishna. In spite of the fact that we have turned our face away from Krishna and you want to be on our own, we still cannot be on our own. We still cannot do anything on our own, even material enjoyment, without Krishna's help. And Krishna gives all that facility for us. He creates this material world. He puts us into that, gives us these bodies, gives us a material opportunity, and we are foolishly enjoying matter and forgetfulness of the Lord. But the Lord has never denied all the facilities meant for our enjoyment, because He desires that we learn out of our own volition and we actually express ourselves after the lessons we have learned in this world in love of Krishna and desire to go back to Krishna out of practical experience and deep realization. Then He actually takes us back into His fold, right? So you can see a parallel that Sati's action is not anything different from our action. So many of us are Sati. We have actually turned our face away from our protector, Krishna, our supreme protector, who is our father, mother, everything for us. Pitaham asya jagato, mata data pitamaha. Krishna is explaining, I am your father, grandfather, mother, everything for you. Life after life, eternally. And we have foolishly turned our face away from that supreme protector. And we are trying to get ourselves secure in this world without Krishna's protection, under Krishna's material energy, which is consistently harassing us. Right? So, we should understand that Sati, in one sense, represents the conditioned soul who has decided to turn away and is still getting all the protection necessary for her, for exercising her individual opinion and right. But you will see that it doesn't actually bear any good fruit, because she goes there and immolates herself and is insulted by her father, and she makes a mess of the whole sacrifice because all the followers of Lord Shiva do so. And Lord Shiva gets angry and many other things ensue. Right? So this is a powerful lesson that we can learn. The material world is a wonderful example of our conditional situation. We have two situations. One is our conditional situation and our constitutional situation. While we are in the material world, we are supposed to actually learn about our constitutional situation through a study of the material conditional situation. Our so-called independence, although Krishna says he doesn't interfere with it, Natva evaham jatunasham natvam neme janadipa nachaiva bhavishyamah sarvevayam atah param. Krishna explains that in Bhagavad Gita, that all of us are individuals and we're capable of individual thinking and thought. And therefore, Krishna is not interfering with our individuality. Krishna's influence is an influence of love. Krishna manages through love, affection. He does not impose material rules and regulations. That is not the way to actually control a person. Srila Prabhupada controlled all his disciples with love and affection. And he demonstrated that. Simply, the disciples were very indebted to Prabhupada for bringing them Krishna consciousness, giving them knowledge about Krishna, introducing them to pastimes of Krishna, introducing them to sadhana bhakti, the performance of the chanting of the holy name. And all these very safe procedures for residents in the material world. They became so indebted to Prabhupada that they wanted to do something for Prabhupada all the time. Because this is the greatest gift that anybody can get. So Prabhupada did not force them to do anything. He said we should have independently thoughtful men. And they should independently think of Krishna consciousness. This is maybe the best way and the most powerful way of culturing and growing a person. We can learn a lot of lessons. And what Lord Shiva is doing and how Mother Sati is conducting herself. If we actually trade off or try to trade off by keeping away material facilities, then it is a very low-level operation. In the material world also, they talk a lot about it in management and leadership. That the leadership should be inspiring, should be actually pointing at a great visionary direction. So Prabhupada also explained to us that we need to go back to God at Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surayah Diviva Chakshur Atatam Tat Vipraso Vipinyavo Jagruvagum Sasamindate Vishnu Yat Paramam Padam. The supreme destination for everybody is Vishnu's lotus feet. And that's what is being pointed to by Prabhupada to all of us. In fact, Prabhupada, by giving his powerful instructions, illustrating them so nicely in his books, and by living that life and showing to everybody, he has challenged every human being's intelligence. That as soon as we read Prabhupada's books and hear his life history and hear, get to know his teachings, we cannot but do something about it. This is the way of powerful influence. Today in the world, people are talking about influencing others. You see, I often tell devotees as an outreach strategy that we should measure the influence that Prabhupada has had, his teachings has had, his movement has had, his books has had on people. It is so intangible. If you can actually somehow measure the intangible influence, which is actually the faith people have built up, Adhav Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Ata Bhajana Kriya Anatta Nivriti Sya, like that, going to Nishta, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhava, Prema. The faith is built up in stages right after becoming fixed in Nishta. So Krishna has given this whole facility of the material world for us to do that. That's what the material world is about. It's not about going behind matter and enjoying things. I often say matter does not matter. It's spirit that matters. And we should know and see behind the veil of matter and understand what's the real purpose of life. Because everything here is so temporary. And Sati, being energized by Lord Shiva's influence, as soon as she reaches the arena, she understands that here I am not going to get any recognition. I'm not going to get my father's attention. And she instantly understands how great her husband is. And she starts glorifying her husband there and speaks demeaningly, disparagingly of the whole sacrifice done by her father Daksha. Because at that moment she understands the greatness of her husband and how Daksha is envious of him and how Daksha is purposely doing certain things which are not becoming of a person of his stature who is qualifying himself by doing this great sacrifice. So she denounces the sacrifice and she understands how great her husband is. And she understands the great mistake she has done in leaving her husband. And therefore in desperation she immolates herself. Right? So the living entity also in this material world, if we actually see through the veil, Maya Javanika Channam Ajnadokshajam Abhyayam, Kunti is telling that you have put this curtain of Maya and nobody is able to actually understand the reality which is you. For those people who don't want to, they can never understand. And they are very unfortunate. But those people who have been trained, like Sati is energized with powerful influence and association of Lord Shiva, they can instantly see it. So many times we can also see the veil of the material world and we can actually see this is not the reality. This is not the reality. The reality is beyond this. As Chanakya Pandit has advised us, Smara Nitya Anityata, always meditate on the impermanent nature of this world. Don't take any of these things seriously. What really needs to be taken seriously is Krishna consciousness. That is reality. Everything else is unreal. Everything else is material. Matter does not matter. We should know this. And Sati come to realize that on the arena of the sacrifice. You see. So this is the inner meaning of a sacrifice. A sacrifice actually gives you a realization. Yajnayi Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedesha. Prabhupada is likening to Kali Yuga sacrifices to chanting the holy name of the Lord, Prabhupada is saying. And that arena of sacrifice where Sati is getting that realization has also got some important imports. In the arena of the sacrifice is understanding that I am part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we perform Harinam Sankirtan, in that arena of Harinam Sankirtan, we can also understand that I am part and parcel of Krishna by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, by my Guru's mercy, by Vaishnava's mercy, by Krishna's mercy. I am able to get some information of the reality beyond. And these things don't really matter. I should actually focus on Krishna consciousness. I should focus in more detail, should focus on chanting feelingly. I should read Prabhupada's books daily, as the community here is doing here so wonderfully every day, absorbing yourself in Bhagavatam. And I should associate with devotees with the proper attitude so that I may be benefited, they may be benefited, this world may be benefited by me progressing in Krishna consciousness. These are all powerful value statements, you see. We should reinforce ourselves every day in the morning when we get up. I am a spirit soul. I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am not this body. The material interactions I have, the material situations that I face are temporary. But my real business in life is actually to utilize this facility to fix myself in Krishna. In the 11th canto, Krishna is telling Uddhava how this material life is actually so wonderful. Because it's temporary, but you can actually intelligently use the temporary to get the permanent. It's a very powerful statement made by Krishna to Uddhava. If you're intelligent enough, you know how to use the temporary to get the permanent. It's actually contradictory. Temporary is temporary. It cannot be permanent. But how you can use it as a stepping stone to get the permanent, to get the reality. Yeah? That's our business in life. So in the arena of sacrifice, Krishna is always involved, whichever yuga it may be. Although Daksha is making this very elaborate arrangements, he is an epitome of a person who is completely forgetful to a great extent of the real purpose of the sacrifice. That's why he is slighted Lord Shiva. If he really understood the purpose of the sacrifice, he would have welcomed the Lord Shiva, because he would be able to realize the purpose of the sacrifice better in the association of Lord Shiva. See? So Prabhupada is making a point here. In this time and age, sacrifice means Harinama Sankirtanam. He's saying that many people should get together and chant jointly in unison. Bahubir militva kirtayante sankirtanam uchyate. Many of us get together and sing the holy name. That is called Sankirtan. I tell often people there are two things that people tend to do in ISKCON. Samkirtan, S-O-M-E. They get away in a group, or they get away from the main association, get away from Krishna, and try to do some kirtan. Well, we are actually supposed to stay together and do Sankirtan. The challenge of staying together with devotees is one of the greatest of challenges. But if you give up that, you cannot really be performing Sankirtan. You'll be doing some Kirtan. And some Kirtan, over a period of time, of course it is definitely beneficial, but will actually weaken you. And if you give a little bit of a free space, Maya will get inside and rupture the whole Sankirtan. So it's very important for us to remain in the association of devotees and perform Sankirtan. A sacrifice means many people are involved. That is the Hotra, the Yajaman, the Advaru, and all sorts of people are involved in that. Many people play a role in ordinary sacrifice. Yajnayi Sankirtana Praye. Similarly, in previous Yuga, in the Treta Yuga, it was Makai, means sacrifice, you see. And lots of people get involved in sacrifice. And sacrifice those days when it is being performed is the way for realizing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Sati is going to the sacrifice where it's being done to actually propitiate the Supreme Lord. Krishna is a real beneficiary of all sacrifice. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvalokam Aishwaram. Krishna explains that in the Bhagavad Gita very nicely. So persons who understand sacrifice really will do that. Unfortunately for Daksha, he slighted a great Vaishnava. Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. The greatest of all Vaishnavas slighted, so that sacrifice was already finished. You see. In comparison to this, you will see in Bali Maharaj's pastime with Vamanadev, how Vamanadev nicely tricks Bali Maharaj into surrender. And he simply keeps aside Shukracharya and inspires Bali Maharaj to not follow Shukracharya and follow him. And in this way, he sends Bali to the nether regions in planet Sutala. And there he becomes the doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj. And consistently, every day Bali Maharaj sees him at every doorstep in the palace. As mentioned, Bali Maharaj would keep the lotus feet of Vamanadev consistently on his head, because he had the opportunity to do so. That was a great blessing that he got. And it so happened that after Bali Maharaj was placed in the nether regions, Vamanadev came back to see Sukracharya. It's amazing, all great devotees do that. Just like Narada, after sending back, all the sons of Daksha went back to see him. I don't know how he was so bold enough to go back and see Daksha. And here you see Vamanadev is going back to see Sukracharya. Of course, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he goes back to see Sukracharya, and he goes to Sukracharya and pacifies him, and starts praising Sukracharya as such a great Brahmana. You're teaching everybody the Vedic literature and Vedic tradition, and I'm very indebted to you for doing this. You're so powerful by your austerities and penances, and indeed you're carrying out my order. I thank you very much. Starts glorifying Shukracharya. Shukracharya becomes a little pleased, because he understands that Shukracharya will be very disappointed. because he has personally taken over the authority from Shukracharya, influenced Bali Maharaj, actually completely liberated him, put him in Sutala. He did willfully all those things. So he knew that Shukracharya were very angry. So he pacified Shukracharya. And he glorified. Shukracharya became a little cold. So in turn, Shukracharya told Vamanadev that, my dear Lord, actually, I constantly remember you. In all the sacrifices that you do, he says that, I constantly remember you in Kirtan. Otherwise, my sacrifice will never be successful. You see, he explains that. Forget that shloka. It goes something like mantratas tantratas chidram deshakalarha vastutah sarvam karoti nischidram anusankirtanam tava. This is Bali Maharaj speaking. Prabhupada calls Bali Maharaj the founder Acharya of the Smarta community in the purport. And he also comments that Shukracharya, I'm not Bali Maharaj, Shukracharya. Shukracharya is the founder Acharya of the Smarta community. And he also says that such a Brahmana working for the Asuras is because he was getting very good payment. And he had lost himself to the Asuras because they were giving him very good remuneration. And this is the meaning of a Smarta. He falls down, goes to a very low level. But still, he was Brahminical in certain things, many things that he was doing, you see. So, Shukracharya is glorifying, my dear Lord, what to speak of what you are saying. My success, mantratas tantratas chidram. All my mantra and tantra will always have holes in it. It will not be perfect. Desha kalarha vastutaha, according to time, place and circumstances, which I do, will have holes in it. Sarvam karoti nischidram. All the holes get plugged. Anusankirtanam tava. When your Sankirtana is performed. This is my real secret. So the founder Acharya of the Smarta said that Sankirtana is what makes his sacrifice successful. And here we have Lord Chaitanya coming and telling, simply do Sankirtana Yajnai. Sumedashaha. You become very intelligent. So you must understand the dynamics and the physics of what we are doing. Chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the greatest of all sacrifices. It's the essence of sacrifice. And by the mercy of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the whole world has got an opportunity to do this essence. By simply moving your lips and your tongue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is a great boon for people in this material world. What more can Krishna do for us? Sometimes I wonder, what more can Krishna do for us? In this material world, He has created a facility for us to materially enjoy. He has given us all things that we need. He has brought us in touch with Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and his followers. He has given us beautiful books of Prabhupada. He has done everything possible. And there's nothing more that a father can do for his son, a parent can do for his child, and the Supreme Lord can do for his children. He has reached it right up to your mouth. He has bought the groceries. He has cooked it up nicely. He has presented it nicely, the menu, and put it on a plate, put the fork and the spoon and everything, laid out the table, have you sit down there, and then when the mother puts it into the child's mouth, the child can spit it out. You can see the child doing it. That's unfortunate. Oh, a lot of work the mother does. Similarly, Krishna has done so much work to bring Krishna consciousness to us. And He has given us Prabhupada. And He is giving it on a platter and saying, chant the holy name. You see? Most unfortunate if a person cannot follow it. You see? Sometimes I see Indians are the most unfortunate because they are the ones who don't take it up. They take it very easily, especially in a place like America when everything is very well settled and they have all the material facilities. They land up disillusioned in enjoying the material facilities and not understanding it should be utilized for the sake of realizing a higher purpose, for touching the reality, for actually getting in touch with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these are some lessons that came to my mind as we were reading. Likening Sati's turnaround from Lord Shiva to be that of the turnaround of the living entity, and then getting illusioned with the facility with the wrong intention, and in this way landing ourselves in trouble. So if we follow Prabhupada's order, we don't have to self-immolate ourselves. At least we don't have to have a spiritual suicide. That spiritual suicide is likened to the Mayavadis telling us that we are Brahman and we can be equal to God. Sati's immolation is something similar to that. We don't need to perform immolation. Even though we have done the mistake of turning away from Krishna, if we take part in the sacrifice of chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, we will actually be attracting Krishna. He will come to us right at the sacrifice. Tesham aham samuddarta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavamina chirat partha maya veshita chetasam. He will directly come and he assures us that personally he will take us back to Godhead. So like I say, again, what more can we expect from God? People in the material world are cursing God for bringing all sorts of problems on them and not satisfying their desires. This is completely ignorance. When we get to know about God from the pages of Prabhupada's books, we can actually feel very grateful to Krishna, very grateful to his pure devotees who spread his name. So much that even the gopis express their gratefulness. Tava katha amritam tapta jivanam kavibiriditam kalmashapaham shavana mangalam srimadatam bhuvigrinanti ye bhurida jana. Bhurida jana, most merciful, most beneficent. Devotees of the Lord carry his message everywhere. So just imagine what all Krishna has made arrangement for us. How concerned he is about us. Should we not reciprocate a little bit the love that Krishna has shown us and which we so much are ignorant to, turning our face away from him? Even a little bit of decency on our side, a little etiquette on our side, demands that we actually do something about it. A little bit. Because Krishna is inviting us to take part with him in loving relationships. Om Tat Sat. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I stop here, and if there's any questions, we can try to discuss this a little further. It's okay. 8:10.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam, all Krishna Prabhupada and Gurudev. Thank you very much for your association. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Shashi Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Just go now, thank you so much. Yeah. If it sounds weaker.
Yeah.
So you were telling about working and cooperation among devotees and working with them is the greatest challenge. And yesterday also in your class you explained how Krishna wants us to be the servant of his servants and chant the holy name of the Lord. And so since we are all conditioned souls, each one has their own level of challenges. Like it was really very pictorial seeing the graph that what are all the challenges we face with juniors, with seniors and with peers. So how to put the purpose of cooperation in the center when so many anarthas are there, and we tend to commit mistakes. The other people also tend to commit mistakes. How to really not take anything in the heart and keep the focus as a cooperation for Krishna in the center.
Well, that's very fun.
Okay. Get close.
Yeah, just it's a very general question, but at the same time very relevant practically in life when we practice Krishna consciousness. These are some of the greatest challenges that devotees face. That is how to actually associate, how to actually derive benefit in the situation that we are in when we are challenged. Actually, we should not be afraid of doing certain things. Only by making some mistakes do we learn. Only by making some mistakes do we develop value for Krishna consciousness. So we should go ahead and do it, make mistakes, and correct those mistakes and move up. Nobody is going to start being a perfect person right from day one. People evolve gradually. There are black areas, gray areas, and then there are white areas. So we need to take the leap and boldly perform in Krishna consciousness. Many times out of ignorance we may be doing something wrong, but Krishna enlightens us. He arranges the enlightenment. So after that, we can try to practice things. We should not be challenged, although it is challenging. We should not be challenged to such an extent that we want to abandon or we are afraid, we're not able to perform, we are straitjacketed. We should not be in that situation. We should go ahead and try. Whole thing about Krishna consciousness is going ahead and trying it. Many things fall in place. That's what Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada did. He just went ahead and did what Bhaktivedanta Thakur asked him to do. And he said that also. I simply gave it a try. Because at least we must try. And the rest is Krishna's will and His mercy. So we should go ahead and perform in Krishna consciousness. We may make mistakes, but we should not dwell too much on that. Because Krishna is quite kind to His devotees who are sincerely oriented towards making improvement in spiritual life. He has mentioned that in several times. If our intention is pure, and if we do any mistake in the face of the challenges that we face, then it's not really something very bad. As long as we forge ahead with enthusiasm and correct our mistakes and move ahead, then Krishna is with you, right? So we should go ahead and perform. That's a general answer to the question. Because you didn't give me a specific instance, I'm not answering specifically. That again, I'm leaving it to the local councillors to do so. Yes. Anybody has any other question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dhanvat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Maharaj, Krishna, like we are not Swatantra, and Krishna is controlling everything. So how should we, like in practical life, how should we act?
You have to repeat that question again.
Because Krishna is controlling everything, and we can see, by chanting, we can feel that, we can little realize that Krishna is controlling everything. I don't have any power to do by myself anything, and everything under control of Krishna. And I'm not Swatantra at all. So how should I act? What do I need to do?
Well, Krishna is the controller, but you are the controller of your desire to surrender to Krishna. That is what you control. In fact, that is in focus, not who controls matter and material nature. Krishna already mentioned, I control it. Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti. We understand that. That Krishna is the controller. However, you should not think that since Krishna has taken over control, I really don't have any control. No, everybody has got a certain level of control within their domain, especially in terms of making your life better, oriented towards Krishna consciousness. Definitely that control is given to you. And you must exercise that control. It's only when you think that you can control more than that, and your control tendency extrapolates itself and goes into domains that are not your jurisdiction, then you will face disappointment. But you're in charge of your life, and you can control your life. Right? So this is what I would say, that although you don't have control materially, you don't need that much control like Krishna has. Krishna has outsourced control in the material world to the demigods. Only he intervenes when there is a big problem. But he outsources control to the demigods, and he outsources different types of these activities. And we can remain under the control of those persons for our material requirements. And your situation, whatever it is, you can practice Krishna consciousness irrespective of your material situation. Krishna consciousness is actually independent of the material situation. But in the beginning stages, it's so deeply intertwined because our own material consciousness makes it so. So we have to deal with it. Prabhupada said, till Nishta, a devotee will have challenges. From Adav Shraddha to Nishta, till he fixes himself, it will be a little challenging. But after that, Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhava, and Prema, it becomes faster and more relishable for the devotee. Because of not being fixed, so we should humbly just chant Hare Krishna and wait for the best to happen. The chanting of the holy name sincerely can do so much wonders. That is the solution. Om Tat Sat, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. There's no other question. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else has any question or comment? Yeah. Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji.
Haribol.
Mataji, we need to end the conference.
Oh, Jesus.
Hare Krishna.
Like that? Oh, yeah.
Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya